radio, glowing magic transistor radio, glowing magic transistor.
Hello YouTube and YouTubettes. Welcome to another album review. Today I'm going to review Sufjan Stevens' Come On, Feel the Illinoise, released on July 4th, 2005. This was at the studio The Buddy Project in Queens, New York. Labels included Asthmatic Kitty, Secretly Canadian, and Rough Trade. All songs produced and written by Sufjan Stevens. This is another one of the albums I found browsing a record store. He was originally a member of the group Danielson, and which I discovered separately, and then later discovered via the Danielson family documentary that Sufjan started with them. And his poetic lyrics in the album are connected to his Christian faith. Now, it's kind of funny on the title, Illinoise is obviously referring to the state, which is spelled without the E at the end, but he had another album, I think after this, called Michigan. I can't remember which was first, but anyway, he joked that he would do one album for each of the 50 states, but he only did those two and then he took a break. The album cover is artwork done by Sufjan Stevens. I think somebody else is also credited with some computer graphic design. I really love it. It has great colors and fonts of the wording, and it makes an excellent album cover, and I give the cover a 10 out of 10. Now on to the songs. The first track is called Concerning the UFO Sighting Near Highland, Illinois. I love that, and the lyrics are obviously about that, and I think it's a great poetic lyric, great production, nice piano. I love the vocal on the part that goes, ooh, history involved itself. Very good way of singing that there. The weakness on this song would be a lyrical hook or catchiness, but everything else is great, and a great opener to this album, and I give this one an 8.4. Track number 2 is called The Blackhawk War, or How to Demolish an Entire Civilization and Still Feel Good About Yourself in the Morning, or We Apologize for the Inconvenience, but you're going to have to leave now, or I have fought the big knives and will continue to fight them until they are off our lands. Oh, that's the title. Well, I think the main title is The Blackhawk War, so I guess there's subtitles. But anyway, this is a great song. It's just an instrumental, and sort of as a concept album, there's these pieces that fit in between, but I think this is a bit more than just a piece in between. It is very dynamic. I love the arrangement, especially when the trumpets come in later in the song, and I give this one a 9.0. Track number 3 is the title track, Come On, Feel the Illinoise, Part 1, The World's Columbian Expedition, Part 2, Carl Sandburg Visits Me in a Dream. This is it kind of shifts gears in the middle of it, but the piano part at the beginning reminds me of the Peanuts cartoon, and then it gets into this really complex arrangements, which Sufjan often does, really good. And then the second half of it, the first half is a bit more dynamic and very swingy, I guess you could say, and the second half is got a beautiful melody. This is a great song. The weakness of it is the lyrical hook, but very good other than that. Overall, I give this a 9.0. The fourth track is called John Wayne Gacy Jr. This is I believe it's about the serial killer, and very haunting. It's a beautiful musically, and it's almost kind of disturbing to the song. But I really like the words at the end. It says, "And in my best behavior, I'm really just like him. Look beneath the floorboards for the secrets I have hid." I think it's just mainly about how we are all sinners and we all have, evil in our hearts. So he's kind of, in a sense, comparing himself to this guy in terms of that. So that's kind of a touching lyric. I really do think this is a beautiful song, and I give it an 8.6. Track number 5 is called Jacksonville, and this is one of the catchier songs on the album. It starts out sort of symphonically and then gets, into some banjo kind of, Americana folk kind of stuff. I really do like this song. There's really no weaknesses to it. Everything's at least an 8 on the scoring, and just has, some historical Illinois kind of vibes to it. And overall, I give this a 9.2. Track number 6 is called A Short Reprise for Mary Todd, Who Went Insane, but for a very good reason. I guess you have to be kind of read up on some history here. This is just an instrumental, very haunting music, just a stopgap piece. I gave it high on the artistic side, but very low on the catchiness side. It's hard to grade this individually. I think it works well in the flow of the album, but as an individual track, it's not great. But I give it a 7.3.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Track number 7 is called Decatur, or Round of Applause for Your Stepmother. This is a great song. It's another one of those kind of Americana folk kind of songs, and I think this is well-rounded. It's great artistically. It's catchy. It's got great lyrics. There's really nothing below a 9 on this song. Great lyrics, and overall I give it a 9.4.
Track number 8 is called One Last Woohoo for the Pullman, and it gets a 3.7.
Track number 9 is called Chicago, and this is one of my favorite songs on the album. It was probably the song that made me think, before I even realized that he was a Christian, listening to these lyrics, that it might be a Christian lyricist, especially in the chorus where it says, "You came to take us, all things go to recreate us, all things grow." And so I wasn't totally sure, and I'm not totally sure that's what it's referring to, but that's what I was thinking when I heard the lyrics. But this is a great song all the way around. I give it a 9.6. Track number 10 is called Casimir Pulaski Day. This is a bit more of a basic song. It's underproduced, and I would say this is a very good song, but in the context of the album, it sticks out as a lesser song, very somewhat boring compared. I don't think it's a boring song. I think compared to most of the songs on here, it's kind of blah, but it if it was on most other bands' albums, this would be considered a great song. I think the lyrics are good, and I think the melody, the rhythmic melody is very nice. It's just very minimally produced, I guess. And the lyrics are very solid as well, but I give this a 7.8. Track number 11 is called To the Workers of the Rock River Valley Region. I have an idea concerning your predicament. Another great title. This is an instrumental stopgap piece. I think it's a very good artistic piece, and in the context of the album works really well. As an individual track, it's kind of boring in and of itself, but it is artistic. It's not catchy. So overall, this one gets an 8.0.
1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4.
Track number 12 is called The Man of Metropolis Steals Our Hearts. I'm not a big fan of the music coming into it. It's not bad, but it just doesn't stand up to a lot of the rest of the album. But then it gets into the verses, and the melody is great. I love the lyrics, and then even more so, I love the melody of the chorus. So this is a great song, and overall, I give it a 9.0. Track number 13 is called Prairie Fire That Wanders About. This is a really interesting melody. It's kind of repetitive, but it doesn't bother me at all. It's all very interesting. And it kind of reminds me of a great musical number, like from a musical, like, I don't know if it'd be like towards the beginning or something like that, but just some powerful piece in a musical for some reason. And this is a great song. Overall, I give it a 9.4.
Track number 14 is called A Conjunction of Drones, simulating the way in which Sufjan Stevens has an existential crisis in The Great Godfrey Maze. And this song gets a 7.0.
Track number 15 is called The Predatory Wasp of the Palisades Is Out to Get Us. This is another one of his songs that has a beautiful melody with very nice rhythmic sounds to a rhythmic vocal that makes it interesting. And then it gets into this chorus that's very beautiful as well, even more so than the verse, with a really good instrumental section between the verses and after the chorus between each verse. This is a great song. There's a in here it says, "Lamb of God, we sound the horn, hallelujah." You can hear more of that Christian influence coming through. Great lyrics, great music, and overall, I give this song a 9.0. Track number 16 is called They Are Night Zombies. They are neighbors. They have come back from the dead. Ah! That's all in the title. So, this song it kind of starts out with a bass thing that's okay. I'm not a big fan of it, but then it gets into this dynamic vocal section, and which again seems like some dynamic music or song from a musical for some reason. Then it gets softer, and I love the melody. He has a tendency to make great melodies, and there's another one in this song. Very good lyrics, and overall, I give this song a 9.2. Track number 17 is called Let's Hear That String Part Again, because I don't think they heard it all the way out in Bushnell. This is just a stopgap piece, but I love the strings. I love the beautiful, this is beautiful music. Just an instrumental piece, and I give this a 6.7. Track number 18 is called In This Temple as in the Hearts of Man, for whom he saved the earth, and this stopgap piece gets a 7.3. Track number 19 is called The Sears Tower, and this is my favorite song on the album. It is beautiful, has great lyrics. It just really pulls me in. I have pretty much all 10s on this except for the catchiness, which I gave an 8. So very strong across the board, and some very haunting vocals in the second half of the song, just incredible. I give this one a 9.6. Track 20 is called The Tallest Man, the Broadest Shoulders, Part 1, The Great Frontier, Part 2, Come to Me Only with Playthings Now. This has some very interesting music, just really complex arrangements, and then it gets into this another great melody, very good words. It's kind of getting cliche now, but because this album is full of it, but just another great piece by Sufjan Stevens, and I give this song a 9.2. Track number 21 is called Riffs and Variations on a Single Note for Jelly Roll, Earl Hines, Louis Armstrong, Baby Dads, and the King of Swing, to name a few. This is a stopgap piece, very short. It kind of has a like a jazz band warming up feeling to it. Not very catchy, but another artistic piece. I give a 6.0. The final song is called Out of Egypt, Into the Great Laugh of Mankind, and I Shake the Dirt from My Sandals as I Run. This is another instrumental, but it's a longer piece. It's not just a stopgap to end the album. It's very artistic, not as catchy. It is interesting, and it is, if you're listening to the entire album, I think it's worth sitting through it. Just not as an individual track, but I try to not do too low on these stopgap pieces or I don't want to pull the whole album down too much. But this is very artistic, and I give it an 8.3. The album flow is a 10 out of 10. This is definitely meant to be listened to from beginning to end, although probably half the songs are worth listening to on their own. The album as a whole is a great work of art and definitely meant to all be put together. So a 10 out of 10 for the flow. This is a very good album, and I have not dug deep into a lot of Sufjan Stevens. I have one of his albums that's quite different than this. It's a bit more, probably more like this last song, except with more electronic synthesizers. But this is a great album. I think Sufjan is very creative and very advanced. I don't even know if you can call this pop music. It's just something else. It's just quite advanced. Progressive rock, not even rock, progressive music in the 21st century. So now I will pull out my handy dandy computer and calculate my formula. And this album gets an 8.36 out of 10. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Newsflash: this review is done.